getting the information out to you on what I think is a great alternative to perhaps an EOTech or an Aimpoint sight option, both of which are outstanding but very expensive. The TRS 25, the Bushnell, this one right here, mounted on an SGL 31. My son and I went out, blasted, I don't know, 400 rounds or so with the TRS 25, and just kind of some fun tactical drills to see how it did. Later on, I took it out on a separate outing, and it was cold on both of those occasions, and the sight performed perfectly. It's a great alternative to a more expensive sight offering by Aimpoint, and that is the H1, T1, I think maybe R1 it's called too. It's the Micro Aimpoint, which is a 4 MOA red dot sight. Very expensive. Dude, seriously, I think that Aimpoint Micro, at least the H1 version, H-1, comes in at around $560. That's crazy. The Bushnell TRS 25, from all that I can see right now, is pretty much similar to that red dot by Aimpoint. It has the same quality levels, the same optics levels, because I have looked at them, not side by side, but individually. Obviously use this one, but I have studied the Aimpoint Micro. I don't see a lot of difference. Some quality things that I will look for when I look at one of these micro Aimpoints. First and foremost, here's the cover coming off. What I look for when I look at any type of red dot sight is I want positive detents in this. And these are extremely positive on the TRS 25. They're not going to accidentally actuate. Hear that? Very solid. You can see on this version, and they may change this in the future, 11 daylight settings. Some criticisms that are valid and often leveled at what might be termed value red dot optics are brightness levels. Running a CR2032, that's 2032, 3-volt battery, sometimes they just don't produce enough brightness levels for bright conditions, like you've seen us in the Nut and Fancy project often, shooting in snow. A good example of that would be on this Kel-Tec SU-22, an outstanding gun. That's wearing an Alpha AD-30, or Alpha 30 red dot sight, which is excellent. It's lightweight, has a 2 MOA red dot sight on it. Well, I'll talk about that here in a second. The brightness level, even though it's listed at 11, not very high. I have noticed it taking it out into the snow areas. I wished it would go brighter. Have not seen that problem at all with the TRS 25. It cranks it, and it goes low too, so if you're in dark conditions, go into settings 1, 2, or 3, perfection. Easily adjustable. These are all O-ring sealed caps. That's pretty standard for all these sights, nothing new there. Another beef I have with some sights, let me turn this on, have you take a look. See, I'll put it on, I don't know, 8. There you go. See that? That's on level 8 and it's still bright. But I don't like it when they're overly green. Some of the red dot sights by like NC Star have this problem. They're very green. They have to have somewhat of a greenish tint in order to produce the red dot on it. It'll look orange on that side. I understand that. That's pretty normal. I hate it when it's overly green. Look through your optic. If you're not going to buy a TRS 25, look through it and see if it's too dark. A lot of the really high value, i.e. cheap, I won't say high value, they're just cheap red dot sights come that way. Has a Picatinny Weaver rail built into it. The sight itself weighs about 3.7 is what the factory tells us. Realistically, about 4.2 with the battery in it, according to the Nut and Fancy scale at least. So easily adjustable, nice detents, good brightness levels. It's tough, it's rugged. To me, 4.2 ounces is super light. Wait a minute, Nut and Fancy. I thought you loved optics, i.e. scopes, for your tactical carbines. The answer is yes, I do. When I know that my ranges may progress out to, I don't know, here's a little bit of philosophy, out to 200, 300 yards, meters, then yeah, I'll definitely opt for a scope like this. And this is another high value scope. What is it? The Weaver 2x7. I've talked about it a lot. However, a lot of your engagements, both for recreation, like if you just go out and do your running guns, probably will be within 100 yards, maybe even defensively speaking as well. Knowing that, a red dot is still a very viable option, and it's very lightweight, it's very compact. That's a huge benefit, making it more maneuverable on your gun. The only well, there's a couple downsides. You're going to have it turned on, right? The battery life on the TRS 25 is listed at 3,000 hours. continuous use with a fresh 2032, probably in temperate conditions. I would say about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so you'll have to meter that. If you're in a threat situation, leave the red dot sight on. That's what I'd recommend. And can you co-witness this? I don't know, it just depends on the gun. I did not mount this on an AR-15 for AR guys that are wondering. You could put some riser blocks on it, probably fool around with it to get it to co-witness. That is not an AR-15 mount that it's on, and I'm glad it's not. Because if it is, kind of like the EOTech XPS2 series, it raises it up, since an AR-15 needs it higher, right? So if this was an AR mount, it wouldn't be low like it is now. It's going to have a bunch of height built into it, which I found out, of course, shooting the XPS 2-2 on the SGL 21 in Breaking Contact series of videos. Too high for an AR series. By the way, this is mounted on the excellent KVAR KV-04 mount, which slides onto the receiver of your AR, not your AR, but your SGL or AK series of rifle. There's the optics rail, and it just mounts like that. I actually, as you can see, and this is kind of a weird angle, let me see if I can get this. I kind of like having my red dot on a separate rail, my 2x7 scope on a separate rail. Depending on the mission, I'll slam either one on. If guys are saying, hey, we're going to go out and run some drills, 50 yards is going to be the max distance shot, I'm running this or another red dot sight like it. Not necessarily, but I mean, I wouldn't feel under equipped at all. 50 yards and under. You talk about CQB, you know, 25 yards or under. If you could guarantee me that's all I'm going to do, I would probably opt for a red dot sight. And the Bushnell TRS 25 is a great alternative to those higher price offerings. Let's talk about value. I mean, you want to go ahead and pull the trigger on a micro aim point, rock on. If you've got $500 extra, maybe $600 laying around, you want to dedicate it on one sight? That's crazy talk, man. If you just have one gun, then okay. You know, if you have several systems you're equipping, you're getting ready, as I call them, squaring them away, then you might want to watch how you spend your money, right? In the box, this is what you get. Like that. Got some instructions, and yeah, I have 2 of them. And there's the sight as it comes to you. Pretty boring stuff, I know. Pretty boring. There you go. And the rubber scope covers come on it. I wished it had an integral or a better way to cover the optics. The open optics that you often see, reflex sights, kind of along the lines of the Burris Fastfire, which I have and is excellent, but is more costly than this by about twice the price. You can't seal them up very well unless you put that plastic cap on them. It does seal up well, although it's an additional piece, and probably in the heat of action you're probably going to lose it. So I love the 3 MOA dot on the TRS 25, and honestly that's what really motivated me to get one and evaluate it, and I liked it so much I got another one for my own systems and different run and gun options that I have.
Killer bass one and it's a serious sound. Everybody up and try your hands in the air if you feel the Irish and now let me see ya, funk is gonna drop on. Boom, there's the sound of the killer bass one and it's a serious sound. Everybody up and try your hands in the air if you feel the Irish and now let me see ya, funk is gonna drop on.